Hello, and welcome back to the Nonstop Podcast. My name is Erica, and I'm your host. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing the fear of emotions and focus on loneliness. The Nonstop Podcast is a travel and lifestyle podcast that promotes the importance of traveling and mental wellness for millennial women. We discuss everything from travel to dating and careers to mental health. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for entertainment purposes only. Alrighty, let's go ahead and meet Shawnessa Devonish from the Rejuvenated Minds Therapeutic Services. So let's get into it. Now, Shawnessa, can you go ahead and introduce yourself to the folks?
Of course. First off, thank you for having me. My name is Shawnessa Devonish Ford. I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor as well as a national board certified counselor located in the DMV area. I am also the owner as well as founder of Rejuvenated Minds Therapeutic Services, where I work primarily with millennial clients on healing from a multitude of challenges, including abandonment trauma, anxiety, depression, generational trauma. A second passion of mine is to spread awareness around the importance of mental health in Caribbean communities so that individuals with Caribbean roots can seek the services that we all rightfully need and deserve. I've been featured on multiple media platforms, including the New York Post, Yahoo.com, Bustle, Shape Magazine, and as of today, Nonstop Podcast.
I love it. See, I like how you did that. Thank you. All right. See, this is going to be a good show today. I already know it now.
There we go.
All right. Let's get into it. What we're going to do, we're actually going to just start off with the basics, right? So we just want to understand, is loneliness an emotion or a mental health concern? And what is the difference between the two?
Okay. So loneliness can be both. Loneliness can be emotions as well as a mental health concern. When dealing with it as a mental health concern aspect, it can be a symptom related to a multitude of mental health issues, including, and honestly, specifically, we talk about this big book called the DSM-5, which is the book that we use to diagnose clients. But going back to that, depression. So loneliness is a major symptom associated with depression. But being mindful that there's a significant difference between loneliness and wanting to be alone. That's what a lot of people are confused with. So when we talk about loneliness is triggered by low mood, as well as a person feeling like they're not wanted or accepted or connecting with others. Being alone, you want to have moments where you want to feel refreshed. So that's the significant difference between the two.
Okay, I love that. So, what are emotions exactly? Can you kind of give us an idea of what that is?
Yes. So emotions are the sensations that we all experience. There's numerous emotions. The basic ones that I hear normally, and I always encourage my clients and my loved ones to expand on them, because it's not just sadness, anger, surprise, happy. It can all expand into many emotions, such as the one we're talking about today, loneliness, irritability, exhaustion, about happy emotion, excitement. I'm trying to think of normal ones I hear. Depressed can be an emotion. There's a difference between depression as a diagnosis and feeling depressed. There is many emotions out there, and I honestly encourage all of my clients to explore. I actually have a pretty dope emotions chart during sessions. And if anybody out there wants to explore emotions on a more enhanced level, do a simple Google search on emotions wheel or emotional charts, and you will have all of the gems related to different types of emotions.
I love it. Okay, so that's wonderful. So let's kind of go back to loneliness. Now, how common is loneliness?
It is common for a lot of people. And then you also have to factor in the pandemic. So it hit a lot of people pretty hard these past few years because we were forced into a state of isolation. For some people, they weren't as fortunate enough to have their loved ones surrounding them to provide that sense of companionship. They were by themselves, and that did trigger some form of loneliness for them. Then you also
Okay.
have, as I mentioned, difference between loneliness and want to be alone. You have
Yes.
those introverts out there who enjoyed it to the T, and now they're like, why is outside open? Exactly. Do I
Yes,
have to go
I
to
can
work now? Like,
absolutely understand that. Yes, when it happened, I was like, "I think my lifestyle is actually made for quarantine." I don't
yes,
know. So
yes. I was like, do
when
I have
outside opened
to
back
go?
up, I said, "Wait a minute now. Are we sure we wanna go out here? Is this what we're doing now?"
Right. I hear so many people like, so don't really have to go to office. I'm like, you did it for most of your
Yes.
life up until these last 2 years. But it's like,
Yeah.
I kind of like it here by
It's refreshing
myself.
when you're that introvert, at least from my experience, it's refreshing, you
Mhm.
know? I mean, now sometimes you have the opposite where I have felt where you can be working from home and you never get a break from work because your work is now at home. So, I think there is a very thin
Right.
line, but it can be refreshing just to kinda have your space and have your own routine. It just it's a very thin line that I've noticed.
No, definitely, definitely, definitely. And I love how you're talking about that because that's actually one benefit of wanting to be alone, is
Mhm.
to feel refreshed, is to
Yes.
feel relaxed, is to have those moments where you can reflect on growth without
Mhm.
being an overstimulating environment.
Yeah.
And also having that space to be your authentic self without trying to be someone or do something that you don't want to
Mhm.
feel like doing, and
Yeah.
honestly avoiding judgment from others. So it's definitely a refreshing time to be alone and just woosah and chill.
Yeah, no, I feel that. In my alone time, Imma tell y'all a little secret here. I like to do my solo dance parties. So I just turn the music I'll blast the music, and I just start randomly dancing. I love it. That's my alone time. That's what I do to
Listen,
yes, that's what I do to feel
I
refreshed.
love it. It's a whole vibe because I do that same thing too.
Yeah,
I age
listen,
myself because it's not even new. It's not even the newer music. It's the old school music that I vibe to my long time. Like in my car, it's all the new stuff.
baby, whatever
I go
works,
down in
right?
19, not the 90s, and I just
Yeah.
turn up in the house.
I love it though. I mean, to me, that is one of the best things that's the best part of my day. So I totally agree with
Mhm.
that. Doesn't matter if it's old school or not, let's rock out to that, right?
Listen, it's a vibe. Vibe out by yourself again. No judgment
Yep,
on if
yep.
you all for me or for me, just spinning around doing random stuff. So I
I
invite
love
it.
it. Yeah. I mean, it's great. So, what are the main causes that people get or feel lonely?
So when you don't feel like you're connecting with a lot of people, that's kind of one
Mhm.
of the warning signs of you maybe feeling lonely. In
Okay.
addition to that you feel like you're a burden. You
Mm.
start to have many self-defeating or even irrational thoughts. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, no worries.
Going back to feeling like you're the only person in the room, like you don't feel like
Mm.
no, you're connecting with anyone, or that
Mhm.
anyone cares. You feel like you don't matter. So those are some common warning signs associated with feeling lonely.
Yeah. That's very interesting. So, I wanna kinda talk about and I'm not sure if this is something you can answer, but why
Mhm.
are there emotions categorized as positive and negative or positive versus negative?
That is a great question. I think it's more so how people respond to the
Yes.
emotion that
Yes.
puts them in categories. So when
Mhm.
we're angry, people may, I don't know, throw a rock at a window. People may
Yeah.
punch a wall. People may start being very unhealthy to others.
Mhm.
Versus when you're happy, there's pleasant things happening.
Yeah.
You're hugging everyone. You're doing stuff that brings you joy. You're giving out
Mhm.
compliments. So I think based off of the responses to the emotions is how they get categorized.
I like that. I like that. So I guess that would kind of answer the next question. Why do people feel ashamed or bad about feeling lonely? Is it just more so of the reaction or how people see loneliness, quote unquote?
Mm. I think loneliness forces you into a state of reflecting.
Mm.
And that brings up a lot of heavy things for a lot of people,
Mhm.
especially when you aren't in the stage of your life that you want to be in.
Understood.
So
Yeah,
that
that makes
feeling of
perfect sense.
shame comes up. So it's
Mhm.
like, okay, now
Mhm.
I'm forced in this space to really reflect on things, like really see that there are some improvements that I have to make.
Mhm.
There's some things I need to do. I should be taking accountability for this,
Yeah.
but it triggers discomfort. And when that discomfort comes up, a lot of
Mhm.
people practice what's called suppressing. doing
Mm-hmm.
what's necessary to avoid those emotions, to actually identify and accept the fact that one, you may be feeling lonely, or two, you actually need that alone time so that you can
Mm-hmm.
do what's necessary to build and grow into a better you.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. That's very interesting how you said it, and I would agree with that. I think sometimes, even myself, I tend to get lonely sometimes, and then I kind of realize I'm like, for me, and that's kind of why I asked about the positive versus negative. For me, I was like, it shouldn't be a negative thing because I feel like it adds more shame to feeling like this, right? So everything that you're going through with
Mm-hmm.
the loneliness, you don't need the shame on top of it from yourself, yeah. So I guess for me, it was more so of
Right,
like
right,
it
right,
should be
right.
neutral. This is just something that I feel, which actually is going to go into my next question for you. Can loneliness be permanent?
No, it takes
Mm-hmm.
a lot of self discipline to get out of that place, though. A lot of self
Mm.
discipline. I find oftentimes that a lot of people tend to be complacent with suffering because it's all they know.
Mm. Okay, that makes sense.
The change is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So they tend to immerse themselves in that normal, safe space, which sometimes is suffering, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get out of a place of loneliness. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a significant difference between loneliness and wanting to be alone. And when it
Yeah.
comes to loneliness, is when that low mood continues to exacerbate.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you can stop it from happening using a variety of tools. One of them, being self-disciplined.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's probably the hardest thing, even for myself. That self discipline in any aspect of life, I feel like is you got to be motivated. Can you feel lonely while you're around others?
Can. Again, you feeling like you're not able to connect with others. If
Mm-hmm.
you're in a space with people who aren't like-minded like you or enjoy the same
Mm-hmm.
interests as you tend to feel alone, like you're the
Mm.
outcast. Like
Yeah.
nobody wants to get to know you or you can't relate. So that can definitely happen in a space where you are surrounded by so many people. So it's
Mm.
really important that individuals immerse themselves in spaces where they're surrounded by like-minded people.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
They won't
So,
experience that social anxiety. Hmm?
yeah. So, what are some questions that you can ask yourself to determine if you're dealing with loneliness?
Okay, that's a great question. So, one question I will invite everyone to ask themselves, and I'm a therapist who likes to tackle into everyone's body,
Mm-hmm.
and I always ask, "How's your body feeling?"
Mm.
It's like, "Wait,
I
what?
like that.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
Sit with it. Sit with
Mm-hmm.
it. Tell me how is your body feeling? Just
Mm-hmm.
put a word to your body's responses." Well, my heart's
Mm-hmm.
racing. I feel light, not in a good way, a bad way. I
Yeah.
kind of feel drained, actually. And I want to be isolated to kind of
Mm-hmm.
combat those emotions. So that's
Yeah.
one way that you can determine that. Also, being mindful of isolation. I talked about suppressing earlier. When
Mm-hmm.
you suppress your emotions, that can have a significant impact on. I actually use this analogy. I love it so much. You holding on to your emotions or holding in your emotions or avoiding feeling emotions is like a balloon. So imagine a balloon.
Mm-hmm.
All those emotions that you're avoiding releasing or experiencing, it's going into that balloon.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, what's going to happen when you continue to fill it up? You're going to continue to fill it
It's
up,
gonna
you
pop.
continue to fill it up. Exactly.
Yeah.
And popping can look like one, the person engaging in very irrational behaviors that could be unhealthy, or
Mm-hmm.
two, the person going into an enhanced state of loneliness or depression.
Okay.
So super, super important to tap in to check in and see if you're lonely by one. Like I said, I want to rampage with that. But anywho, tapping
No, I
into
love it. I love
your
that.
body, really seeing your body. Also listening to some comments that people may be saying to you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, when you talk about being alone, do you need a break because your mom is noticing that you're super jittery or irritable? In
Mm-hmm.
addition to that, checking into your mood. Do you
Yeah.
feel like people are, honestly speaking, annoying you? Do you
Yeah.
feel like you can connect with other people? Do you
Mm-hmm.
feel like the people around you are elevating, making you feel wanted, desired, pouring into you? Or do you feel like you're the only one in the room? So
Mm.
those are some ways to look out for loneliness.
Yeah, I like those. Those are great ways to do that. So, can loneliness actually affect you physically?
Of course. Oh my
Mm,
gosh.
tell us
Yes,
about
yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
Those moments where y'all be sleeping all day, every day,
Yeah.
that's one sign. One
Mm-hmm.
sign.
Mm-hmm.
Also struggling with eating. In addition to that, no longer wanting to do the activities that once motivated you or provided you with that sense of fulfillment.
Yeah.
So those are
Hmm.
some of the common ones I noticed.
Okay. And I know we were talking about before being alone versus lonely. So,
Mhm.
can you describe, I guess, how they are? I know we kind of went through it, but being alone and loneliness should not feel the same. Can you talk a little bit more about that just so people can really be crystal clear and understand the difference?
Oh my gosh, great, great question. The main thing to look out for when differentiating between the two is loneliness. You are continuously going down a path of low mood. That low
Mm,
mood is intensifying and could eventually go
mhm,
down the route of depression. When it comes to being alone, during those moments where you are alone, you
mhm.
feel a sense of refreshment.
Yeah.
You feel happy. You feel at ease because I needed this. I
Mhm.
needed a break from all of the freaking stressors of the world has in store for me outside of my. So
Yeah.
that is the major difference. Is that
Yeah.
alone time producing that feeling of fulfillment, another feeling,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
is it triggering you go down the path of more intense low mood, potentially
Mm.
depression?
Okay.
So that's the main thing to look out for.
So I like that. So I guess my next question for you is if someone or should someone go see some a therapist, someone to talk to if they are dealing with loneliness on a regular basis?
Absolutely. And that's not
Yeah.
just because I'm a therapist, I'm a
Mhm.
human first. And one of my
Yeah.
values is to make sure that everyone gets what they need and deserve,
Mhm.
whether it's treatment, I don't know, social fulfillment, whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
my advice for that person, if they are experiencing loneliness, is to seek help. So that one, they could determine if it's a significant mental health challenge like
Mhm.
depression, bipolar diagnosis, whatever the case may be. And two, so they could find and discover ways to combat that loneliness
Yeah. Yeah.
because it looks a little bit different for everybody. Like I mentioned, I talked about some general things that people could do to combat that loneliness,
Mhm.
which includes calling family members, loved
Yeah.
ones, immersing yourself into those groups or
Mhm.
activities with like-minded people. But my idea, well, maybe some of them, because I do like to travel, so similar, ours are similar in that aspect, but
Yeah.
my idea of loved ones may be a little different from you. I may have
Mhm.
a really bad relationship with my father, so I'm not going to call my dad. You may
Yeah.
feel comfortable reaching out to your father. So
Yeah.
really getting treatment from an individualized approach
Mhm. Understood.
is super important. So I definitely would encourage anybody to seek a therapist.
Okay. So, I guess what are ways that you would suggest someone to learn how to be alone rather than lonely? So, in those moments where somebody might be, I know there's some people who get anxious when they're lonely, but they may need just some time just to kind of regroup, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
are there any suggestions for someone who just could try to be alone for maybe once or twice within their life, really? Whether you are living with people and you go from living with a family to living with a partner, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you never actually have space on your own. There's always someone around. Any
Yes.
suggestions for that?
So like empty nesters, things like that. When you
Yeah,
finally
even if
transition out of
college,
roommate
yeah, you're going
situations.
out. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
or just, moving to a different city or traveling, just that idea of solo travel even, just being alone for the
Mm-hmm.
first time.
Mm-hmm. One of my biggest advice
Mhm.
is to tap into the things you always said you wanted to do.
Mm.
We are always on, most people are always on the go. We're
Mhm.
working,
Yes.
doing X, Y, and Z. So we barely have time to tap into those adventurous things that we always said we
Mhm.
wanted to do. We'll be
Mhm.
scrolling on Instagram, but oh, that looks like a nice restaurant. Cool. Oh, I want to bungee jump one day.
Mhm.
Cool. Save, never go back to it.
Yep,
So
I do
really tapping in. And
that.
here, I've actually started to go back to the stuff that I say, which is a lot.
Yeah, I was
Um,
gonna say, yeah.
but tap into different things that I said I wanted to do. I'm a foodie, so restaurants in my area, I'm saving so much stuff. I'm like, I've never been
Love
to
it.
these freaking restaurants in my life. So on my days off, when I am hungry, I'm like, let me try this one. Let me try this
Yeah.
one. Let me try this one. But in those states where you are feeling like it's giving you anxiety to
Yeah.
be alone, really tap into those things that you have been trying and wanted to do for the longest. One exercise you can actually do, like I said, IG. Everybody probably had that bookmark page filled with
Yeah.
so many crap that you said
Same,
you
same,
wanted to
same.
do.
Yeah, you
Start
can just
there.
literally scroll down. Yeah.
Exactly. Start right there
Yep.
and go from there. But also tapping into your inner child, going back down the
Yeah.
path of childhood. What you like to do when you were a kid? And it's like, oh, I actually like to color. I like
Yeah.
to play with Play-Doh. I like to
Mhm.
jump rope. I like going to the park.
Yeah.
You know you can still do that as an adult, right? You don't need to have kids or do it with your kids to
Yeah.
play with Play-Doh, things like that.
Yeah.
So going back down the path of when you were a child, what did you enjoy during those moments?
Yeah.
And a
And,
lot of
it's
my
funny that you
clients,
say that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. It is funny that you say that because I think a lot of adults, they're like, "Oh, well, I'm an adult now," right? So there's that level of you have to do certain things, you have to be mature. And it's funny because I was like, actually, I like doing a lot of these things that I started to do rather. A lot of these things. You can find adult versions of them. Like you can do a sculpting
Mhm.
class or painting or whatever the case is, or you can get an adult coloring book. Whatever you feel, they have those things for you. So it's so interesting that you say that.
See, or if you're like me, I don't care about judgment. I'll get the kid coloring books.
Do it. Do
So,
it.
it is what it is. I love pop-up girls. When the ball is school and I see a pop-up girl coloring book, I'm getting my
There you
pop-up
go.
girl coloring book.
That's
No judgment. I
hilarious. I
was
love
tell
it.
the
I love
cashiers
it.
for me.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. The next question I had for you, if there is someone who has a friend or family member that is experiencing loneliness, how can they help?
I think the first thing to be mindful of is don't be too invasive. Like, don't continue
Mm,
to push and act like you know what's going on.
yeah.
Come from a concerning place, because once
Mhm.
you continue to push, the person's only going to fall back even further.
Yes.
So
Yes,
legit
yes.
come from a concerning place. Let them know that you're there for them, because like I
Mhm.
mentioned earlier, one of the signs of loneliness is the person feeling like they're burdened, feeling like they can't connect with
Mm,
anyone.
yeah.
So just hearing that someone's actually interested in how my experience is, what I'm going through, can
Mhm.
feel so fulfilling. They may not show it, but you are really underestimating how significant just being there for that person is,
Mhm.
without you having to bombard them with questions or accuse them of depression and things like that. So
Yeah.
just coming from a concerning place. Yo, I noticed that you have been a little bit off. Is everything okay with you?
Mhm.
And it's like, not really. Or I'm good,
Yeah.
I'm good. Well, you don't seem like it, but you just know that I'm here for you.
Mhm.
If you
Yeah.
have those friends, though, that you
Yeah.
know they struggle with asking for help,
Yeah.
I will invite you to be a little gentle with being
Mm.
somewhat invasive as far
Mhm.
as letting that friend know you just told me you're going through X, Y, and Z, you're doing this, so you got your hands full. I'm about to come up here and help
Yeah.
you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a huge,
But again,
huge help. Yeah.
depends on the friend.
Mhm.
You gotta really do an assessment with that.
Yeah. And it
But I
goes back to
find
that personalized approach you were talking about. Mhm.
because a lot of people don't ask for help. They feel like help
Yeah.
is weakness. So
Yeah.
just saying, bring the kid over here. Like, wait,
Yeah.
what? Bring the kid over here. Bring my godson over here. Bring my niece over here.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. You don't have to. I said, bring him over here.
I didn't ask you. I told you.
Exactly. Bring him over here. You take a nap or go have some time for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one, like I said, it makes the person feel like they're no longer a burden,
Mhm.
feel like you understand them. So that produces a sense of connection, and
Mhm.
also gives in that particular scenario gives them a break, honestly,
Yes. 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 Yes.
without them even asking, but still stressing the point of you know I am here for you.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Also, asking for help. I'm sorry, providing them with the resources to get help.
Okay. I love that. So, have you personally ever dealt or experienced loneliness and how did you handle it?
I think for me, I like to be alone.
Yeah.
So
I feel
there
that.
were mild levels of loneliness as far as me not feeling like there's this dynamic where when you are everything is going great in your life. You have this
Hmm.
great job. You're always happy. You're doing X, Y, and Z. That you shouldn't check on that person.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's moments like that where I feel like, as a strong person, I want somebody to reach out. So those are the mild moments where I do experience
Yes.
loneliness. However,
Yeah.
for me, I honestly love a mixture of my alone time
Yes.
as well as when I do want to be socially stimulated.
Hmm.
This past week was very stimulating for me, so
Yeah.
I'm like looking forward to this Sunday being in the house and
Yes.
just
Same
chilling.
time.
So I'm
Yeah.
super excited. But for me, I'm really intentional. I love being by myself just because one, it's relaxing.
Hmm.
Like I mentioned earlier, reflecting things
Yeah.
that I can do to grow, not necessarily professionally, because everybody here grows and thinks professional,
Hmm.
but potentially from a self care standpoint. I had a very, as a therapist too, I was really bad at self care, to be honest.
Ah, okay. Talk
But
about that.
exactly, so therapist and entrepreneur. So I had two
Mhm.
roles.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say,
So,
yeah.
and I'm Caribbean, so we all about getting our money.
Yeah.
We're never going to lose out on a
I
bag.
love it.
Ever
Yeah.
going to lose out on a bag. So I was doing all of the things, draining
Yeah.
myself out. Thankfully, I have an amazing husband who kind of put me in my place
Yeah.
and really not only tell me but demonstrate the
Hmm.
importance of self care. So
Yeah.
a lot of my reflecting is on times that I can put in my schedule for me. And I could
Yes.
legit show you my book is right here.
I
I'm
love
super
it.
intentional now. It has a curse word in it, but it's okay. I'm super intentional about
Yeah.
not doing anything. So Saturday was that day.
Wow. I love it. I
But
love
it wasn't
it.
like that before.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that because I think for me, learning
Mhm.
to kind of be alone wasn't hard because I was the only child, right? So I grew
Right.
up most of the time alone, whether my dad worked at nights, so he would sleep during the day or whatever the case is. I'm used to being alone. But I think it's
Right.
interesting because I like to have that social interaction. My
Mm-hmm.
love language is physical touch, right? So even with my friends, I'll laugh and joke and I'll touch them and stuff. And I realize that I need that as a person, right? So just
Mm-hmm.
because I love to be alone, I like to have that physical touch or that social activity, and that for me was learning the balance. So it's very interesting that you say that time of reflecting, because in that reflecting time of being alone, I'm like, wait, actually, I need to get out the house. Like I need to see my friends, right? So it's
Exactly.
interesting
Because
that you share that.
we as humans have this innate need for connection. It's
Yes.
natural for us. We do want to feel connected and have a companion, whether it's an intimate companionship or even with friendships and family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there are also, like you said, times where, yeah, I do want to be alone.
Yeah,
And
for
that
sure.
alone time actually may result in me discovering I need to see my girls.
Yeah. You need to have
And
more
then when you're
friends
with
time
your
with
girls, you
girls.
discover maybe
Maybe
next
not.
week is my.
Yeah. Totally but it's balance, right? You learn, and I feel like
Hmm.
the more you reflect, whether it be in the times of with friends or without friends or family or whatever the case is, you learn, right? So
Exactly.
I want to ask you one more question before we kind of head out. What do you want people to know about emotions and loneliness and mental health?
Ooh, great question. So I'll start off with loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
One statement I want to invite everybody to keep in mind
Mm-hmm.
is to combat loneliness. Yeah, combat loneliness, but always invite alone time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mentioned, there's so many benefits to that alone time.
Yeah.
You get that time to really reset. Take
Mm-hmm.
yourself out of the stressors related to the public and people.
Yeah.
You don't have to be all the things, not yourself. You literally are in this non judgmental space where you could just be your authentic you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, reflecting and discovering ways that you can grow in a non stimulating environment. So, being
Mm-hmm.
alone is okay. Combat and loneliness is also needed, as I said before, and we talked a lot about ways to do that.
Yeah.
One way is to don't just talk about it, be about it. Like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, you want to be with your girls, go be with your girls. They want, if you have really good friends, they want to know that you're not okay. Or
Yeah.
they want to be with you if you need that time.
Yeah.
One second thing too, I think I seen a pet behind you. I have one
Yeah.
too.
I
But
have two cats back here rolling around.
there we go. I have a puppy Leo.
Oh,
But another thing you can do to combat that loneliness is to adopt a pet.
yes, yes.
Pets literally have a way of making you feel so needed, wanted, accepted, and loved. Like,
Mhm.
just touch your
Mhm.
heart. So
Yeah.
potentially consider adopting the pet of your choice.
Yeah.
Tapping into new hobbies so you can be exposed to like-minded people.
Mhm.
That's also a huge thing to do. But really get out there and also seek therapy, life
Yeah.
coaching if needed. Okay.
Yeah.
When we talk about emotions,
Mhm.
feel all of the feels. I cannot stress that enough. I offer this space for my clients to feel whatever comes to mind. Because what's going to happen is, like I mentioned before, you are going to suppress your emotions
Mhm.
and it is not going to look cute.
No.
It is not going to look cute. I always tell people, burnout do not look cute on
Ooh,
anybody.
no. No, no. It don't feel cute. It don't look cute. None of that.
Exactly. And have an emotional outburst, whether it's intense anger or intense sadness, ain't cute either.
Yeah.
So finding those safe spaces, you can start with therapy or a loved one that you trust to really be intentional about expressing your emotions.
Mhm.
Also, like I mentioned earlier, you can literally Google emotion chart. Actually, one resource I do, if you are a woman of color,
Mhm.
ooh, what's the book? It's a self-help book called
Okay.
Cocoa Butter and Hair Grease by Dr. Donna.
Okay.
Her last name, but her last name is O, but it's a dope self-help book, and it also has a workbook with it. Within the book, there's a diverse feeling chart, which I love and I use all the time.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
You can get that book and tap into that feeling chart to really identify the
Mm.
actual emotions. Or, like I mentioned before, Google or Yahoo
Yeah.
emotions chart or emotion circle, and you'll have one at your fingertips that you can assess, look at, and identify what you're experiencing in that moment.
Mhm. That's wonderful.
So feel all the feels. Have that
Mhm.
safe space to do that. So those are kind of the two takeaways I would hope people would get from our time together.
Yes, I appreciate that. And I'm just going to tap on. So, what do you want people to know about mental health in general?
Ooh. So mental health is not this topic no more, which I'm so excited about. And
Yeah.
there's so many resources out there to help people combat a multitude of mental health challenges. You
Yeah.
talked about therapy. I mentioned life coach a while ago.
Mhm.
There are also a lot of body works that you can do, such as Reiki and things like that. But there's so
Mhm.
many services out here to assist people. And I want to invite every person to tap in and use it. There are
Yeah.
free resources out there as well as low cost resources
Mhm.
if money is the issue. That's a
Mhm.
lot. Often I hear that
Yeah.
money I can't afford it. You have most, not everybody, but some people have insurance.
Mhm.
Contact your insurance provider.
Yeah.
Pro bono services. We are in the Maryland area. Maryland
Mhm.
actually has a pro bono program where they offer free therapy services for individuals. I forgot the name of the program, but you can
Mhm.
Google pro bono
Yeah.
counseling Maryland. It
Okay.
might be actually the program, but anyway, pro bono stuff.
Yeah. So what I'll
Free
do
services
for anybody who's looking for that in the Maryland area, I'll see if I can find it and then I'll place it in the description for anybody.
that works perfectly. Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. It's super helpful. But get the services you all need. We
Yeah.
all deserve to live a life of fulfillment.
Yeah.
And the only way that we're going to get that if we are self-disciplined and engaging in the actions that we need to execute.
Mhm. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I completely agree, and it's something that even I have to work on. Self-discipline is a challenge for me in a lot of different areas, you know? So it's something that I think that comes with time and experience and trial and error, and you just kind of figure out what works for you, and it goes back to what you said, that personalized approach. Not everything works for
Mhm.
everybody, right? So I love
Exactly.
that. I love that.
Oh, I could,
So
since we're talking about that, I'm sorry,
mhm.
real quick.
No, go ahead. Yeah, for sure.
I love self help books, but just also remember that 'cause a lot of people do tap into self help books to assist them, which is
Mhm.
great. But
Mhm.
be mindful that, just like you mentioned, everything is not going to work for you out of that book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tap into the things that you know resonate with you and they are effective, but
Yes.
don't feel pressured if certain interventions within that book or
Yeah.
statements do not align with you.
Yeah. And that's a really, really good point because I know some people will read something or do something like, "It doesn't work for me." And I'm like, "Okay,
Hmm.
that might not have been for you. Try, something else." So it
Exactly.
totally makes sense. Absolutely. Okay. So I wanna say, 1000%. I appreciate you being here. You had such good information, and I know this is going to help somebody, even myself. So I really, really appreciate you being here.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. I was about to not come because you went to Greece without me, but it's okay.
My bad.
I was
Listen,
like, wait
Greece
a
was
minute.
amazing. First of all, I'm telling you, I want to do like a group trip and just like
Oh my
go.
God, let
I
me
really,
know.
I really want to go to Antarctica. That is,
Oh my
I
God,
was researching that all day today. That's
oh
it.
my gosh, that would be amazing. But I was like, we could have did the interview in Greece. Like,
Baby, all you have to do is tell me. Just let me know next time. We can do that.
I was
That's
like,
not
I
a
should be
problem.
petty. I should be petty.
No, I needed you. I'm so happy that you came and you talked to us. I'm telling you, you just don't understand. I think especially for people of color, we need more representation within mental health realm. You know, therapists. We just need that information and people to talk about it. It doesn't have to be a taboo thing. And I know you were talking about the Caribbean background. I know in a
Mhm.
lot of places, talking about your feelings or emotions or mental health is taboo. It's not. Keep your business to yourself. That's what I always heard. You know, why are you
Very
telling
good.
people things? It's not that. You need
Mhm.
help, and even if you feel like you don't need help at the moment, there's things that you can do to kind of get to that point, right? Some people just
Yes.
may be afraid or hesitant or whatever the case is when it comes to therapy. Now, I am 100% all for therapy. I've been doing therapy for years, and I think it is one of the things that have helped me to get to this point, right?
Mhm.
So I always tell people it is a stepping stone. You have to go through, you have to walk your own journey. So just learning and getting to sit in those alone moments, like I was talking about before, and kind of reflecting. It's hard. Life
Mhm.
is not easy for anybody on here. Whether you're
Mhm.
born into a family with billions and billions of dollars, you're still going to go through something, right? So
Thanks.
I just want to tell you, thank you.
Of
It means so
course.
much more than you could ever know.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, thank you for having me. Of course, like I said,
Absolutely.
something that I value is helping others. That's why I came into this profession. Like
Yeah.
that's been something that's high priority for me, and I'm super happy that you decided to have me today.
Yeah. Well,
Mad about
absolutely.
grief still, but
Yeah.
we good.
Oh, well, listen, we're gonna have to talk about that one later. Okay, we can make a plan. All right, it's you and me. We can make that plan.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
So I wanted to see if we can get your social media handle out to the folks or website. That way, if they need help, they can reach out, or if they just want to follow you, they can do that too.
Of course, please do, please do. So my Instagram page is actually my full name.
Mhm.
So Shawnessa, Shawnessa, two S's. Devonish, DEV is in Victor, ONISH. That's my IG handle. As far as my website is rejuvenatedmindstherapy.com. So
Love it.
definitely feel free to reach out to me on any of those platforms.
Okay, perfect. Well, once again, thank you so much. And to my Next Stop Nonstop family, I want to remind you to write a review on iTunes and like, comment, and share this episode with your family and friends. Thank you so much for tuning in today. All new episodes of the Next Stop Nonstop podcast will release every Tuesday, so make sure you keep an eye out. Also, be sure to tag at Next Stop Nonstop in any of your comments or if you have any topic suggestions, or if you just have a question for me. At Next Stop Nonstop can be found on all social media. Don't forget to sign up for the Next Stop Nonstop newsletter on our website at www.nextstopnonstop.com just to stay up to date with any episode releases or any bonus goodies I'll have on the way. So, until we meet again, I want to wish you all healthy minds and happy travels.